Welcome back to Infotech. This is the payroll spreadsheet, and I wanted to go over some specific tasks in it. If I head back to the checklist, you can see there's preview the data, make it yours, and sorting. I'm going to skip those and take you through the formulas for tasks 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there are still other tasks you need to do, but I wanted to be sure that you got a good live example of how the formulas work. So the first formula we're going to do is going to be in column E. I have selected cell E7. You can see it in the name box up here, E7. And this is currently the row for Beatrix. If you've already done task 3 and it's sorted, no big deal if your name comes up before Beatrix. Whatever is in row 7, just go with it. Because we're not actually going to care about that. We only care about using cell references. Every formula starts with an equal sign. And gross pay is hours worked times the pay rate. Those are in columns C and D. Since I am in row 7, I want to use those. Oh, the autofill. This autofill actually looks kind of good. I'm going to skip it for now, just in case you didn't get the autofill. But if you did, if you got the exact same autofill I did, that looked pretty good. So I want to double check my work. Back in E7, my formula is C7 times D7. Notice all of these 7s. These are relative to this row, or in this case, this employee. So these are all relative cell references. We're using the cell's names, and we're making sure that we are in the current row. This is going to be what we need to copy down the rest of the column. Because those are relative references, I'm able to use my fill handle or copy paste method, or that autofill from earlier, in order to get that pattern down there. So now I want to check my work. I'm going to zoom in here on cell E7 in my name box, which has the formula C7 times D7. I'm actually moving the arrow on my keyboard down now through these rows. And now I'm moving my arrow up through these rows. You can see as I'm changing through the rows, the relative reference updated for this row. I'm in row 8 now, so everything changed to 8s. I'm in row 9 now, so everything changed to 9s. I'm in row 10, everything changed to 10s. That is how relative references work. They're relative to the row you are in, or the column you're in if you fill horizontally instead. Now there's the federal tax. Federal tax is different because the federal tax rate is not in this row. The federal tax rate is over here in column I, cell 2. So cell is I2 where my tax rate's at. That means if I try to do my gross pay in E7 times my rate in I2, then when I do the autofill here, you can see things get really weird. What's happening here? It's updating relative to the position we started in. So I2 became I3, became I4, became I5, became I6. All those I's changing, that's no good. I don't want that. I want it to always use the federal tax rate that's in I2. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to fix it. Up here in my formula bar, I can add these dollar signs to the I and the 2. This becomes then an absolute reference because it's going to stay absolutely constant no matter how many times I copy the formula pattern. When I copy this pattern, it's going to copy the relative reference E7 and update it to an E8. But it's going to take the absolute reference and keep it at $I, $2. So the I2, the federal tax rate, is going to be the same no matter how many times I copy it down this column. But the relative reference in column E, that's going to change. So I'll use my fill handle on this one. The autofill didn't do it for me earlier, so there we go. Now I can check my work. F7, E7 times I2, and it's $I, $2. That tells Sheets that in my next row, I want it to stay $I, $2. I don't want it to go away from cell I2. That tax rate is there for every row, not just this row, every row. That's going to be what you need for the state tax rate as well, and the state tax rate is in I3. So for cell G7, I want equals my gross pay, which is still in E7, times $I, $3. And you can see which cells are being selected to perform this calculation when I'm in edit mode here. You can see that it has found I'm doing gross pay and I'm doing the state tax rate. It's highlighted those cells because I'm using them in this formula. It even color coded them. This E7 is orange, so it highlighted this in orange dashes. This I3 is in purple, so it highlighted this cell in purple dashes. So there is my formula. I even did the autofill already, and I can check my work. In G7, I've got a relative reference to E7 in this row, and I've got an absolute reference to I3 somewhere else. So it can just stay put while the row data changes. So that is the difference between relative and absolute references. That gets you started on your formulas. Please make sure you actually finish the rest of the assignment. I only did tasks like 4, 5, and 6. So make sure you start back at task 1, get everything done in this spreadsheet before you turn it in, and don't forget to reflect.